Hey there. Welcome to this week's episode of Epic Entrepreneurs, brought to you by Action Coach Growth Partners. I'm your host, Bill Gilliland. And in this podcast, you'll find three things. You're going to hear real stories from real entrepreneurs that will help you along your entrepreneurial journey. You're also going to get business tips to help you scale up faster, and you're going to get actual coaching to help you get better real world results to be the best entrepreneur you can be. Hey, and if you like the podcast, remember to subscribe. And now, enjoy the show.
My name is Jessica Whitmire. I am the Director of Operations at Headwaters Outfitters. I am the second generation of kind of running the family business. My parents started when I was 6 years old, started this business in 1992. And so we are going on 32 years as a small family business. And this is probably my 8th year at the lead and running the show. Yeah, it's great to be here.
So, Jessica, tell us what it's like to grow up in a family business.
Oh man, well, there's always the ups and downs, like there isn't anything. But my experience is nothing but I wouldn't really want it any other way. I have enjoyed growing up in this industry. I've in the outdoor recreation world. My parents were paddlers, so I grew up in a canoe. I think I was in a canoe at just a couple weeks old, exploring rivers across the country, camping and fishing and paddling. And I've been able to just kind of use that passion and to keep this going and continue it. The fly fishing has really become a big part of my passion. I love the fly fishing community. I love fly fishing and being on the water. And I love paddling too. And it's just really helped me. It's given me an opportunity to not only do that as a career, but share it with other people, work with other people that have become like family. We have such a strong team here that we all work together, and it's been despite some of the hardships, you've got to, between my mom and my dad and my husband and now my 8-year-old or my almost 8-year-old that likes to have his opinion too on everything. There's always going to be times where you really have to focus on communication and love, but it's been nothing but a positive experience, and I'm very thankful for the opportunity that my parents have given me. When they started this business, especially my mom, there wasn't a lot of outdoor recreation in Western North Carolina or in Transylvania County. We were still very industry based. There were still a lot of manufacturers here. There weren't a lot of people doing outdoor recreation, especially on the river. There was a few ski slopes and things like that, but for my mom, her really paving the way for paddle sports professional, watching her really get that up and going, not just with our business, but as the community in a whole was very inspiring.
So are your parents still involved in the business?
Yep. Oh yeah. My dad still works here in the summer. He runs the paddling program with our other our program lead, Danielle. So they kind of run the paddling and the tubing world, and he does all the mowing and the maintenance and all of that. He's here April through October, and mom is still really the foundation behind it all. She's not here on a day-to-day basis, but she is always, wanting to know what's going on, giving us suggestions, keeping us going and keeping us in line.
So was there a point where there was sort of a handoff to the next generation, or how did you go about that?
I think it kind of happened organically. I guess when I came back, we had actually my parents had sold the business in 2012ish to 2011, 2012 to a longtime employee, and they had just sold the business part and were kind of renting the building and the property to him as he wanted to grow the business. Unfortunately, he got sick very quickly of cancer and passed away within a very short year of owning the business. And his family was not really interested in, it was his passion and his dream. So they weren't really interested in keeping Headwaters going. And that's when, my parents and I had to have a conversation of, what do we do? Do we put the property on the market and sell it and move on? Or are we ready to see Headwaters no longer be here? Or do I want to come back and, really kind of take it over and see what, see how it can grow. And so I did. I really wasn't ready to see Headwaters not be here. I didn't think it was time to. I was working full time at the school system at the time as their marketing director, and it made this really weird feeling in my stomach. Like this is not the right time to not have Headwaters Outfitters right here. So I came back, and we worked together to kind of get it back. We had some, not damage control, but we had some, a whole year of no marketing and not really being active, and we had to jump back in and really kind of rebuild a few things. But the foundation was so strong. We had already been a bit in business and had such a strong reputation. It didn't take long for us to get up and going. And then that's where my focus on the fly fishing really came in, and especially growing like a women's fly fishing program, where we were seeing more women coming into the sport and coming into the shop. And now we have 2 or 3 women, female guides that are working for us. We probably have a 60 to 40 female to male client in our fly fishing program. We have a very strong female base. So that's it. That organically happened. And then of course, COVID happened. We had to we had a couple rainy years. We're a business that relies on weather, and we had a couple little rocky years. We had a drought year followed by a flood year, and then we had COVID, and then we had Fred, which was a major flood. And I think it all kind of band together and got through it, and it just organically, my parents have worked really hard for a long time, and it's, they're at the age where they want to be able to travel and, be that. I don't know if you're a small business owner, I don't know if you're ever retired, but they're ready to kind of keep letting it go the direction that it's going.
So you brought the fly fishing in.
Well, they had started the fly fishing program in 2007. They were really looking for a way, we used to be very seasonal. So we used to actually only be open April through October, and we used to close November through March. Completely closed. The shop was closed. Nothing was going on.
Right.
And, it became harder and harder to find just seasonal staff. We had more staff that wanted and needed year-round work. And we wanted to not be just dependent on the paddling program. We wanted something that, to help with the retail and being able to be open more than just 6 or 7 months. So we started the fly fishing program in 2007. I was not here at the time. I was still working as a marketing director at the school system, but it took off. They did a great job getting, they really took the educational approach. My mom's focus was really not just guided trips, but educating, creating an educational program for fly fishing. So they had that foundation, but it hadn't really been pushed or marketed really strongly until I came in, and we really kind of amped up that marketing. My husband came in as our head fishing guide, and he has put together a phenomenal staff of guides that are now. I think we started with 1 when I was here. It was just myself and another guide, and now we have 9 full-time guides.
Wow, that's good growth. Yeah, I think the timing was good for a lot of what you did. Like coming back into the business, the timing was good. Obviously, Western North Carolina outdoor was blown up, and actually COVID helped that. Yeah. Because everybody was looking for stuff to do outside because they were scared to be indoors, and so
we closed early. We were in February. This was before. This was people. You heard of COVID, but you weren't really. Nobody really knew what was going to happen, and it was February, and we were sitting here like, why are we so busy? Why are all these people in the parking lot? Like, what is going on? You know, um, we were very caught off guard and nervous. And when we realized, you know, hey, people were trying to camp in our parking lot. People were just coming up and trying to get out of the city. They were coming up from Atlanta, mostly from Atlanta.
Right.
And we actually made the decision to close down our business early because we felt it was best for our community for us not to, because we are in the upper Transylvania County. We're one of the only businesses that do draw kind of tourists here, like outdoor recreation. There's Perry, there's a couple of us, but we're not, it's not like a downtown.
Yeah.
And
no, I know where you are. Yep.
We felt like our responsibility was to kind of protect our community and make sure that we're making the smart move for everyone. So we actually closed down about 2 weeks before the governor closed small businesses, just because it was crazy.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It was an interesting time. So I want to know about the marketing that you're doing. Tell us, I mean, you come out of a marketing background, it sounds like. So how did you, and I'm sure that those skills are transferable to any business or any organization. So apparently that's worked as well. So what kind of marketing plan have you worked out and what do you do?
So I really, you know, I'm kind of one of those, I don't know what you call, if I'm Generation X, I don't, any of those things. I remember not having cell phones. We didn't have cell phones, you know,
Right.
growing up in school. We had computer labs, but we didn't have, you know, technology at our fingertips like some, you know, people that are coming out of college and getting jobs today. So we did a lot of what we had to do once we got into college, and all of a sudden there was, you know, cell phones with internet and texting, and you had social media kind of come about. I just dug into learning it as quick as I could with trial and error. Once social media became a tool for businesses, I was at that time working for the school system, and it was something that I took a couple classes in and just tried to keep my finger on, but it came really naturally. So I really had that aspect of it. We had such a good email base. You know, one thing that we've done a great job of, and I can definitely give that props to my mom, being ahead of the curve as far as realizing customer contact and repeat customers were such a strong base and an important base for us that anytime we can keep phone numbers or emails, I mean, we have just records of all of that, from back to even when it was just paper and pencil and ringing up on a regular cash register. She really did a great job of seeing that could be a tool in the future. So we had such a strong database of customer contacts that we could use as soon as like e-news came about, and all of a sudden we had a great website. I think when we first launched our website, it was like awarded like the #1 outdoor recreation website in North Carolina. We got several great awards for our website. So I was lucky to be able to just already, when I came into it, there was such a good foundation of an advanced marketing already. I just was able to add to it with the social media and amping up kind of the e-news and, you know, customer contact. We've always really wanted to, just like what we were talking about earlier, we want to show who we are. We want to show, you know, our staff, our mission. We really want that to be the core of everything we put out there. And I think that's important for small businesses, is to tell your story, because it, you know, especially in today's world where we've had to almost take a step back and like, are we using these tools in a responsible way? Because you know, you can get really ad heavy, and there's just, you can do too much now if you're not doing it the right way. So we've had some learning curves in it, but we really focus the people. We want the people to be, even if it, you know, if we're not running as many ads to sell this boat or that t-shirt, we really want to show through our marketing the people that we connect with and the experiences that we offer.
Yeah, I think that was very forward thinking on the database. A lot of business owners miss value. That a lot of business owners don't understand that database may be the most valuable thing that you have in the business. I mean, if you yeah, I mean, it's family business and you're unlikely to sell it anytime soon. But if you were to sell it, the
Yeah.
database is probably the most valuable piece of that business. Yeah, you've got inventory and yeah, you've got all the other stuff, but the database is worth a lot. And then actually using the database properly is the next lesson that I heard there, and focusing on, I guess, the people and the the outcomes that people are going to have, the enjoyment, the transformation, getting out in the woods or getting in the stream and fishing. Those are, to me, a big deal. So that's good. There's usually lessons in family businesses around family dynamics. So seems like y'all got it worked out. So what are some of the tips or that you would have for people in family businesses about how to make both the family and the business work?
Well, I think the biggest lesson that I learned, I'm definitely a go-getter. When I see a challenge or I have something, presented or in front of me that I need to do or accomplish, a lot of times I put my head down and just do it. I'm a little independent on that front, and sometimes to a fault. I think there's many times where I think I made things harder on myself because I wanted to prove that I could do it instead of like, hey, my parents are right here. They've done this. They've ran small businesses for 40 years. Like, I can use them as a resource. And I think a lot of times when you're really wanting to put a lot of pride and you're wanting to accomplish something, that sometimes that can get in the way, and you can make things harder by just not asking for help or asking for questions when things come up. And I definitely know that my biggest struggles here, managing my time and my energy and making sure that I'm doing things that are beneficial for everyone, it's been that. It's just been, there are times where I just need to put down the phone and call my mom and ask her what her thoughts are, instead of, spending an hour fighting in my own head of what I should do. So that would be my biggest, a piece of advice to anyone in a family business, is to communicate, to always keep communication at the forefront, and not feel like you're not capable of doing things on your own just because you need some help. We all need help every now and then. We all need some direction and advice. And I think letting our pride get the best of us is a tough lesson for all of us to learn.
Yeah, you said a lot there. So I'm going to sum it up a little bit. I do believe that our educational system do your own work, all that stuff, actually is not how the world works.
Yeah.
So, you were talking about pride and getting out of your own way. I actually think this is great advice for anyone in business, family or not. A family business is just a business that has employees that are part of the family. So, getting your ego out of the way, asking for help faster. That was one of my, early days of my career, that was one of my big bugaboos, or something that held me back for sure, was not asking for help quick enough. I mean, most people want to help.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. And then keeping the lines of communication open. As a business grows, the more lines of communication, it becomes exponential. When you just have 4 people or something, there's not that many lines of communication. When you get 8, then it's it's not doubled. It's actually gone from 8 to 16 to 32 ways that people can communicate. So I think that's good. So what are the plans for the business moving forward? What are the dreams?
I think it is, we're now a year-round business. We have the tap room and the retail shop and the fly fishing that stay active year-round. We do a lot of events. Our biggest next step is kind of fighting this, the inflation and the cost of living war that's going on in Western North Carolina, and really trying to figure out ways to, you're in the outdoor recreation business. Nobody owns a fly shop or a paddle shop or any kind of outfitter to get rich. That's for sure. And you want to pay your staff well, and you want to try to keep living wages year round. And that takes a lot in this industry. We are the first thing that a lot of people cut out when money gets tight, when the economy gets a little rocky. A lot of times we're the first. Leisure is the first thing that a lot of people cut out, and that's just a natural ebb and flow of the world we live in. So it's making sure that we have those events, we are staying creative, we're using our staff to keep fresh ideas, to keep people coming. And but I think our next step is really trying to continue to create a place where our staff can grow. We like to have staff come in and program develop, if they want to create their own program, if they want to add we had a intern that came in about 8 years ago, and he did his his free summer internship for here, and then he ended up applying for a job, and we kept him on board, and now he's in his 7th or 8th year as being a full-time employee. He's just started a bass fishing program that's really kind of taken off and has been really growing strong the last 3 years. Got another staff member that's pretty new, that's kind of working in several different aspects of the company, that's just started a hiking program, a guided hiking program. So it's really trying to help our staff get creative and do some things that they have a passion for, and being like the foundation and the support for them. Because the more creative that they are in those things, the more financially the business can kind of help continue with that cost of living increase, and helping them support in all those ways.
Yeah, I think having that database allows you to make more offers.
Yeah.
To people. So using the creativity of your team, and you've it sounds like you do what I do, which is basically they get an idea, like, all right, give it a shot. Let's throw some spaghetti on the wall and see if it sticks. And
they take our mission so serious. It's wonderful that all of our staff really, we are known, we pride ourselves in being known as the customer service, the friendliest shop, the customer service driven organization. So people trust us with that, and our employees really take that serious. I used to cry over like a 4-star review, and I'd be like so upset, like, why didn't we get a 5-star review? But now I've been able to learn from that. Even if we get if every now and then if we get like a 3-star review, we all sit down and communicate, and they're just as upset as I am, and they're like, how do we fix this going forward? So, and that is key, I think, for any business to be able to use the feedback and the experiences with everybody on your staff, from our bartenders to our front desk to our fishing guides. Everybody knowing that we all have a piece of that customer service experience is crucial.
Yeah. So last thought here. It sounds like you've got a great motivated staff. They want to be there. They want to be part of the industry. Are you intentional about the education and training with the staff, or is it just sort of happen?
I will say that's probably one of the things that I feel myself, and like I'd say like my dad, I feel like that's one thing that we could do better, is, especially with new staff, is a little bit more like, it's just, you have to learn how to train people a little different than you used to have to train people. I think, and that's one, I think I get that from being an athlete. I was a athlete my entire life, played 2 sports in college. So I've never really had to like whenever I've came into a job, I'm pretty observant, so I know what I need to do. I can see somebody do something and I realize, well, that needs to get done. And you can kind of learn by experience. I think it's a little bit different today with our younger staff coming in. We have to do a little bit deeper training and a little bit more. I think they just learn a different way than I learned when I was starting out on a job. it's not a negative thing. Some people, I think, make it sound like a negative thing. It's not that the generation coming up is lazy or different. It's just they need to be trained, and they need to learn. They need to be brought in at a different way. They have a lot of great skills. They have a lot of great stuff to bring to the table, but they are like, and I think my dad I crack up kind of with my dad because he can get frustrated at the first, but I'm just like, they are different. They're different than your generation. And now they're different than my generation. And, and it is trying to, I think that is one thing. And that is one area where I feel like small businesses do struggle. It's an area that can be expensive. If you get online and you look at resources of staff development and how you train yourself to train your staff, all of a sudden you're spending thousands of dollars, and that's so expensive. And so it's not something that you feel a lot of small businesses feel like is feasible to put money into. So, and that's where I think these podcasts and conversations like this come in handy, because I talk a lot to even our competitors that I'm friends with that run, neighboring shops and outfitters. We all kind of experience that same issue, and we talk and we communicate about it. Hey, this is what worked. This is what didn't work. But I feel like that is one area where I know I can do better. And is getting that next generation kind of involved and showing them not how to work. They know how to work. It's just, you got to get them on board. And it's a little different getting them on board and having them buy in than it is.
Yeah, they really, I agree 100%, by the way. This generation is great. They just need a little bit different way of learning, and they also need a purpose.
Yes.
And so as long as you're very missional, so that helps. And so if you have a mission or a purpose that they can get behind, then they're in. I mean, it's just a matter of, and they're quick. They just learn a little different way. They're quick when they want to be. So it's good. Last question here. What do you wish someone had told you that they didn't before you went into business?
Oh, that's a great question. I think I honestly, it probably would, for me, go back to college. I would have taken some different courses. I would have taken, I was a science major. I think what I wish I had done or had somebody tell me, was to slow down when kind of deciding my career path. I don't think taking 8 years to get a 4-year degree is the answer, but really focusing on making sure that you are thinking of what you want to do in your career before you invest into a lot of education. I see a lot of people go and I coached high school volleyball, so I see a lot of my seniors jumping right into 4-year school, and they're just dead set on this career, and very few of them actually go that route. And I always try to tell them, hey, take your time, think about what you want to do in your career. Because I do wish that I had, knowing what it takes now to run a business, and knowing what skills I need on a day-to-day basis here are just not the classes that I took. I think they're out there. I think that those classes are there, I think leadership is a huge one. When I was going through college, there really wasn't a focus on leadership as much. We were, I think, if anything, almost trying to go away from that and be more team oriented. And that's not a terrible thing, but I wish I had more of those classes and more of those life skills, because I did struggle, and I still struggle some with getting overwhelmed and letting that energy creep in and take over, and even affect employees at certain times. And there's ways to manage that, and I don't think that is something we've talked about, or we as a society in whole don't really talk about that, or we didn't. I hear it a lot more now. Energy management and leadership skills. It's more of a thing. The master classes are a great thing. I've taken a couple of master classes and learned more for certain skills I use here than I did in college. And I loved my time at college. I had great classes and a great degree with a lot of great professors. just not things that I use on a day-to-day basis now.
Yeah, sometimes I think our colleges and education system is actually set up to, I think the big lesson that people miss is the people stuff, in my opinion, which is what you're talking about, the leadership, the interaction, the communication skills, those sort of things, learning how to live, in other words. If you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer or some sort of profession, then the actual classes, I believe, matter more.
Exactly.
But there are classes out there in leadership, and there are schools in entrepreneurship that, if people were smart, I think sometimes we're just, head, like you said, head down. If you're an ambitious person, you're probably trying to achieve things, and you want to get them done, and you want to get it done fast. And I love the advice to just slow down a little bit, just back up a minute.
Yes, and I think that was, my parents came from a generation where, especially my mom, she grew up with nothing, and she grew up with very, very little, and worked very, very hard to make sure I never had to go through those hardships. And I think sometimes that can, and I mean, it instilled me an amazing character traits that I'm always thankful for. But it also, I think I had to eventually be like, I can say no. I don't have to grab at every opportunity. I don't have to put everything on my plate like she did, because she had to. We lived in just a different world. And now I'm a little bit better at saying no. Like, hey, I can't take this project. I can't join this board right now. I've got too much on my plate. I've got a time management. Those are really important skills that you do kind of have to learn the hard way sometimes.
Yeah, my friend Paul Dunn says success is what you say no to.
Yes.
So
I think that would be the advice. I wish somebody.
Yeah. It's great. Yeah, it's a great thing. Well, this has been fun, and this is education. How do people find you?
Well, we still have a great website, headwatersoutfitters.com. We are on social media. If you search Headwaters Outfitters, Rosman, North Carolina, you can find us. We are at the intersection of Highway 215 and 64, and right outside of Brevard in Rosman. So you can come see us. We're open 7 days a week now. We have the tap room and food trucks rolling back for the season. Things are getting busy. The shop is full. We've just got new boats and all that good stuff for the summer. So would welcome anybody to come out. We have an incredible event we do have coming up. Is going to be in May. We have 2 great events. We have our river cleanup we do, and then we also have a big United Women on the Fly weekend, which is an organization it's a large organization that brings women from all across the country to Rosman, North Carolina for a weekend of fishing and camping and hanging out. So that's going to be the 2nd weekend of May, and it's an incredible experience. So anyone that's kind of interested in that world can just show up and hang out and talk fishing, and it's just an incredible group to spend time with.
Yeah, that's awesome. I grew up fly fishing. I always say that women make better fly fisher people anyway. They're more patient. They listen to the guides and the instructors, and they actually do the stuff. I mean, it's way better.
It's just such a healing.
Oh, it's so good. I'll stop in next time I'm over that way. Great. Well, this has been fun. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And until
like this.
And until next time, all the best.
Thank you.